great to be back. It's been a wild year, but I think the worst may be behind me. So I wanted to come back and start my videos again. So for those of you just joining for the first time, I'm Debbie Brady. I run Ending Stigma Together, the blog, and I have my Facebook page and Instagram. But my mission is to end the stigma of mental illness, to offer support to those of us who live with mental illness, and to just get us as a society to talk more. I think it should be a conversation that's as easy to have as saying I have the flu, or I have diabetes, or I'm sick, so or anything else. So that is my goal and my mission here on Ending Stigma Together. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about mental health versus mental illness. They're very much intertwined, but it's what I realized over the Olympics is that I think that some people feel that, so a lot of people still don't appreciate how important it is for us to take care of our mental health. I think a lot of people don't recognize the fact that you can live with mental illness and still do great things. And I think that some people who do live with mental illness are a little worried about the talk, the more media exposure of taking care of mental health or struggling with mental health is going to diminish the struggles they have on a day-to-day basis. So kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about that. These are all stem from comments I saw that came upon social media during those 2 weeks after Simone Biles stepped back from competing. So let's start with the definitions of mental health. So mental health, according to mentalhealth.gov, the website, their definition of mental health is mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices, right? So we all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. So every day we have to take care of our physical body. Every day we have to take care of our mind. For some reason, our society has separated the two. So that's neither here than there. I personally think they're intertwined and you can't separate them, right? Because how I eat affects how I feel physically, but it also affects how I feel mentally. Our brain is an organ, just like our heart and our kidneys, but our brain controls everything else in our body, right? So if your brain stops working, your body's going to stop working and you're going to die. So, to me, the brain is the most important part of our body to take care of. Just that our society seems to still not always agree with that. So that's our mental health. So you want to do things every day, to make yourself be healthy and to make yourself feel good and to make sure everything is going the way you need it to go. Handle your stress, things like yoga, eating right, exercise, reading good books, whatever it is that makes you take care of your mental health. And it's just like taking care of your physical health, right? If you don't eat healthy, your body's going to start to break down. If you don't take time to sleep, your body will break down. If you don't take time to get movement, get some exercise, your body will start to break down. So we have to take care of our health, mental and physical health. So mental illness, a lot of us live with chronic mental illness, just like a lot of people live with a chronic physical illness. But again, for some reason, our society seems to put them on two different levels, right? If you have MS or Crohn's or diabetes, people are there and, nobody really hesitates to mention that. Whereas if you live with chronic depression like I do, or if you live with anxiety, or if you live with bipolar, then people are less willing to maybe say that out loud for fear of people not being accepting or people not understanding and wanting to stay away from them. So for mental illness, the definition of mental illness according to the Mayo Clinic, mental illness is also called mental health disorders, refers to a wide range of mental health conditions. Disorders affect your mood, your thinking, and behavior. So when you have a mental illness, you have that actual diagnosis. And for some, it could be temporary, kind of like when you get sick. For some, it can be temporary. Even if you get very sick. I know some cancer survivors. They are so far out from their cancer diagnosis, they are considered cured. Or you may have type 2 diabetes, and maybe you do some things to your health, change your diet, get some more exercise, lose some weight, get your sugars better under control, and all of a sudden you're no longer living with type 2 chronic diabetes. Or there are other physical illnesses that maybe there might not be anything for you to do. Juvenile diabetes, type 1, that's something your body, you tend to live with your entire life. A Crohn's disease, MS, these are chronic physical illnesses that people tend to live with their entire life. So sometimes people will be more supportive to these individuals, right? Do they need help with their kids? Can I bring you a meal if you're in the hospital? Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? It's okay if you're calling out of work for a physical illness. But as soon as you are depressed or have tremendous anxiety, and all of a sudden your mental illness is not allowing you to function, employers tend to be a little less receptive. Society tends to be a little less supportive. I don't know when the last time I heard somebody was in a psychiatric hospital and there was a meal train started for them and people were going to bring meals to the family. Just tends to not be received the same way. So that's where I feel we need to get and need to understand. We all have physical health, and at any point in time, we all could become physically ill. We all have mental health. At any given time, we all could struggle with mental illness. For some of us, like myself, our mental illness started as childhood. That's when my depression started. For others, it may be a temporary thing due to circumstance, maybe a loss of a parent, and you struggle with depression for a few months afterwards, and then maybe you finally get through and the depression never comes back. For someone like Simone Biles, I think a lot of people did not realize how much trauma she had in her youth, right? From being abandoned as a child, ending up in foster care, and then adopted by relatives, to the doctor that worked with the U.S. gymnasts, the former doctor who worked with the U.S. gymnastics team, who sexually abused her and her teammates over the years. So there was a lot of trauma, and this was the first Olympics since that trial. So I think as a society, instead of looking at her as being strong like all the other women who came forward and brave, and understanding that the Olympics itself may have been a trigger with her mental health, that society felt she wasn't being strong enough, she wasn't being responsible, she wasn't living up to her responsibility of being on the team, and she shouldn't have gone. All these comments that kind of came, I saw on social media, not really fully understanding or grasping how trauma can affect a person's mental health, and how recent that trauma was for her. And that's the thing. We don't all know what everybody else is dealing with. We don't know what trauma somebody else may have been through, whether it was a death of a child, a divorce, a car accident. There's all kinds of life events that can push our mental health over to the point where maybe we are dealing with a mental illness. There's also, for a lot of us who live with a mental illness day in and day out, sometimes it's just genetics. Some of us are more genetically inclined to live with depression, to live with anxiety, to develop bipolar in our teen years, or schizophrenia. there are sort of some, genetic predispositions or genetic markers. I'm not a scientist, so I don't know all the terms, but, some of us can have a wonderful family. We can have a wonderful childhood. We can have a wonderful teen years and still end up living with mental illness, just like many of us can live a healthy life. We can eat all the right things. We can exercise. We can get sleep, not smoke, not drink, everything that you need to do to be physically healthy and still get cancer or still get another chronic illness. That's the thing about with our bodies. So that is what's important to me, is getting society to understand that when somebody says they need to take a break to deal with their mental health, they are most likely feeling like they're going to become ill. So they know their body, their mind, and they may have to step back to give themselves that extra time, to give themselves that extra care so that they don't get sick, so their brain doesn't get sick. I know for my depression, it's taken me 50 some years. I'll be 53 in October. I would say in the last 5 years, I really feel like I've got this full routine that I do that really helps me manage my depression. But I've had to accept that I have to do a lot less. It took me years to fully accept that my depression wasn't going to go away. I talk about that in my book. And I just have to pretty much maintain on this routine and this schedule and how I eat in order to keep my depression at bay as much as possible. It is work every single day. And I think that's what a lot of society who doesn't live with a mental illness doesn't understand, that it is physically draining sometimes, mentally draining sometimes, to keep myself from being depressed. And sometimes you have to say no, and you have to step back from responsibilities. And I wonder if Simone or any other gymnast who maybe will step away, or any other Olympian, if they had been diagnosed with cancer and decided not to compete those couple days, if the reaction would have been the same. So that is my point today, is understanding that we all have mental health. Some of us, a good number of us, a lot of us, live with chronic mental illness on a daily basis. So not everybody has mental illness, but we all have mental health. And taking care of our mental health, taking care of our physical health will help, doesn't always help prevent an illness, but it will often help us to be stronger to fight that illness. I know by doing my routines and by doing my strategies, I am stronger to fight my depression. So it is a lot of work on the front end. And what makes it harder is having people in the world who don't understand that those of us who live with mental illness really do have to take care of our mental health. And sometimes that means saying no, or canceling plans, or missing a meeting at work, or whatever the reason it is. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. I hope it made sense. I've had some technical issues over the weekend, the past week or so, but that is that. So mental health, something we all have and we all need to take care of, and sometimes we also will deal with a mental illness. But even if you deal with a mental illness, you still have to take care of your mental health. And if you don't have a chronic mental illness, you still have to take care of your mental health. Take care of your brain, take care of your heart, take care of you. Let's keep talking, let's keep sharing, and most of all, let's keep supporting each other through this journey, because when we work together, we are stronger together, right? So that's it for this week. I will post another video next Monday. Monday is going to be my day for new videos, and I would tell you what next week's topic is, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So have a great week, and hit subscribe and follow my channel. Bye-bye.